Welcome to another Buddies, Booze, Banters, Unfiltered Conversations. I'm Rick.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Alex.
Great to see you both here today. I know that we've got some other exciting things going on, a little bit another podcast we'll be doing specifically about the total eclipse
Of the heart.
Well, that too. But we will not be playing that music because I got zinged on the copyright of it.
Yeah. It's a good song.
It's a great song, but they zinged me on the copyright, so I don't want to have that happen again. But so, Mike, you got some great things to talk about today, sports-wise.
I mean, this podcast is, well, first of all, before I talk about this, we moved into different spots because Rick wanted to be in the middle.
Well, that's not really the truth there, but I'll let him go with that. There's obviously some more logistic issues and things that I noticed that I need to take care of, but that's okay.
Okay. I didn't say what you actually said.
One of the
wants to be in the middle.
One of the logistic things was actually going to make Michael look better.
That makes me the bun.
All right. Well, this podcast is going to be all about sports. It was a great weekend on sports, for at least from my point of view or whatever.
No, I would have to agree with you.
And I'm going to start. I mean, the first one, and then that's probably we're going to have the most banter on. Is I'm going to talk about the Mavs, because the Mavs played 2 games here in Dallas at home, and they were both nail biters.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, the first one was, and they're also competing to try to get in the top 6, so that's a better playoff spot because you're guaranteed and all that stuff is. So Friday night, I went with one of my best friends, Geraldine, and Dallas was playing Golden State. And it started out where Dallas was up by 16 points in the first quarter, but before the quarter was over, it was almost tied. It went back and forth, and Golden State looked like it. And then at the end, game tied, Mavs hit a basket with 4 seconds left to go up by 2. Golden State had a chance to either tie it or send it into or win it, and they missed their shot, and the crowd's going nuts in Missouri. We're jumping up and down, we're screaming, and all this other stuff. It was just exciting. Sunday, the Mavs played Houston, and
it was the reverse in regards to the beginning.
And I didn't go, but Rick and his friend Jennifer went. And so then, it started out the game where you said...
Yeah, it was, I mean, the Mavs were just horrible in the beginning, and, the Rockets were just running away with the game.
I was home watching the girls' basketball finals or whatever. We'll talk about that later or whatever. But then I saw where the Mavs were kind of like not doing so good, so I wasn't watching it. But then I was getting you updates too. But the whole entire time, you were giving me texts saying, "Oh, this is not going well. Blah. We need to get some points."
Well, it wasn't quite what. Don't over dramatize it. It wasn't that bad. I'm just saying it's not looking good. Things of that sort. The guy behind us was even worse. I wanted to turn around and smack the son of a bitch. I mean, all he kept doing is, even the second quarter, he's like, "Oh, it's over." I was like, "Dude, seriously?" Even Jennifer said this exact same thing. This was her first professional basketball game as well.
Yeah. No, I agree. So, but you were giving me updates and all that stuff and then banter during it, and then one of it said well, at least we got it we're down by only single digits,
and that was going at the tail end, going into the third quarter, second half.
And then I got a text saying, hopefully the Mavs can take the lead. And the Mavs finally took their first lead of the game late in the fourth quarter. And then I get a response from Rick saying, "Boom!" And so then it's like, now I'm watching the game totally on there, and the game at the end of the game is going back and forth.
He's got a punchline after all this. Just
there's a
punchline. Trust me,
there is. And so then. So then Houston was up by 3. Then the Mavs had the ball with about 20 seconds left. Shot a 3-pointer, missed it, and then Golden State got the rebound. And then ultimately, Dallas fouled Houston with 8 seconds left, with Houston being up by 3. So all Houston has to do is win. And Alex, get the clip ready or whatever.
I'm ready.
All Houston had to do was make one of the 2 field goals.
And the interesting thing about it is they were doing very well on them up until that point the entire game.
Yeah. And so then they ended up missing the first one, and they missed the second one, and then Alex now play the clip because this is the last 8 seconds of the game. Or the regular season. Remember that?
This is when he missed.
And thanks to ESPN for giving us this.
Man, just what it would be like to be there.
Oh, I know.
Shut up.
Exum hit us.
Seriously?
Did you not get my comment on your YouTube channel?
Let me finish this. Exum hit
Son
a
of a bitch.
3-pointer at the buzzer to tie the game. The crowd's going nuts. I'm at my house jumping up and down because it's like a big victory.
And I was aware of the score as well.
And so then, I was expecting to get a text from Rick saying, "Wow, we're in overtime and all this other stuff is." And I got, there was nothing.
Instead, I got a text message with him saying, "Are you still there?"
So then I sent a text message saying, "Are you still there?" And then I heard nothing.
Well, you heard nothing because we were getting in the car.
And then the game went into overtime, and the Mavs had won it in overtime. They got hot at the last 30 seconds and ended up winning it by 9. And the next time I hear from Rick, he and Jennifer are walking in my front door of my house.
No. I text you.
No, you did not. And we can go through and look at the text. But I did not hear a word until they walked into my front door.
Well,
and the game just ended.
And we've got a good excuse for that.
The game just ended probably about a minute before they walked in the Dallas won. So my question to you, Rick, is what happened?
Well, we left at 28 seconds left in the game. I said, "Hey, we can head out now." I know, right?
You didn't even. I don't even know this story.
And literally,
I already know where this is going.
They were either tied or 1 point difference. And I actually think the Mavs were down that 1 point when we walked out of the actual arena. And it was really just for logistic purposes of getting out of the parking lot quicker. Because for the first time, I actually parked in the Lexus parking versus at my house, which is just 2 blocks away.
And you were on the first level, so you can get out in a moment's notice. But since
I
you don't drive, I'll give you that.
Yeah, I typically don't ever drive and park in there, so I don't know what it's going to take to get out of there. So yes, but I will guarantee you, and Jennifer can attest to this, that we actually had the score going live in the car. So every time that there was a point made, I could tell her, no, that was a penalty. Nope. Oh, they got the second one, or they didn't get the second one. Oh, no, they got a 3-pointer. And she was catching on as well. So, we knew it. And we knew as soon as that last one happened, I was like, they're going to go into overtime. And sure enough, they did. So, we were still monitoring it. Yes, we didn't get the enthusiasm and the euphorium that you get actually in the arena, but we were still in there in spirit.
Jennifer.
I'm jealous.
Jennifer.
She doesn't want to be. She's not ready.
Well,
I just offered her to listen.
She can get the earphones on.
Yeah,
she
that's what I offered.
Just put them on.
You're not actually in the video.
You're
so
not in the video.
You're not in the video.
This way you can.
You can talk every so often, or at least hear what we're saying.
But this was Jennifer's first NB game ever.
Yeah.
Oh, you were there.
Yeah, she was there, and it was her first game ever.
Jealous.
And it's like. And so she could have been there
come on.
live
No, don't
to
even try
see
to,
all this
Don't
stuff.
even try to do this. Don't even try to do this.
A buzzer beater where the crowd, if you see the video of this,
Packed
the
house,
crowd
everything.
is packed and it's jumping up and down.
No, there's no doubt.
And then they come back, and then they win it, and it's just like they're going nuts. And so Jennifer had awesome. I'm sure she had an awesome time. But it's like she could have had the thrill of a lifetime seeing that.
Oh, come on. That's not the thrill of a lifetime. Yes, it would have been incredible to experience that. But for the most part, she enjoyed it. And she was enthusiastic in the car as well. And
again, why did we leave early? So we could beat the crowd.
Leave early? So we can go to the pub.
I'm not going to the pub. I was actually driving back here. I just did not want to deal with traffic.
I would have rather you had said I was because I was going to the pub.
No, I wouldn't have done that.
Because that's what he and I did
right.
when we left early from the Stars
and we
game.
watched the win. We watched the win
which
there
I thought
as well.
was actually still cool because we were still.
Totally was because the entire bar just went up in an uproar. There's no doubt about it.
But like I said,
you are not going to continue to beat a dead horse now.
Well, no, because it's just like it was like. The thrill. It could have been the most thrilling event she ever had in her life to see that.
Just so you know, Jennifer actually has joined us off to the side here, so I'm going to make a promise to Jennifer right now. Jennifer, I promise to take you to another game, and we will sit through the entire thing. And
if you speak.
Yeah, but it's not going to end the way that game
You have no
ended.
idea that I'll take her to every single game until it finally does. If it'll keep you to shut up.
I'll never shut up.
The thing about it is, though, this was, again, Jennifer's first pro basketball game, and I didn't know how she was going to be excited about it or not, but by, I think, probably the second quarter, because I was a little bit doing some work on my phone for a little bit for the first quarter, which I typically do, she was already just joining the rest of the crowd enthusiastically. She was like 100% in.
I mean, because because if I recall, because I was like kind of flipping it between the games or whatever, but I think at one point Houston was up by 20 points.
Oh yeah, at the end of the first quarter.
And it was either the first quarter or in the second quarter, or the second quarter. But it was just terrible.
Well, they even got up to 25 at one point. It was horrible.
And that's the thing about NBA basketball games. You can be up by 21 minutes, down by 20. It does not matter until you get to the fourth quarter, and if it's close,
I thought the rule was the Mavs had to be up by 30 in order to come close to winning. I thought that's
well,
the
interesting thing about it is, as I was saying in the text message, as well as Jennifer when I was there, Irving and as well as Luka, they weren't playing that well for some reason. I'm not sure exactly what was going on there, but whatever they talked about in the locker room during halftime, they kicked their asses in gear, because let me just tell you something. I think that even the actual rest of the Mavs players were stunned and just blown away on those two and how they performed for the last second half.
Well, Luka and Kyrie Irving are bonding and playing
Big
really
time.
well together.
It's taken them almost 2 years, but there's definitely a bond there
now. They're both studs. They're both great players.
Incredible.
There's
Kyrie egos there's egos.
Well, but Kyrie
and Kyrie has an ego.
Well, he does, but he's also older, and he knows his career is not going to be as long as Luka, because Luka's still young.
Well, I think that he also realizes that he's going to be more successful if they're more team players versus working against each other and trying to get the credit.
But I think Kyrie had like 47 points that game or whatever. It was just unbelievable.
And I saw the outtake when he was talking to ESPN afterwards, and he was quite humble. I'll have to give it to him.
He is. I like the guy.
Yeah. Well, I didn't dislike him, but obviously I've gained a little bit more respect for him now.
And it's just like you saw Kyrie and Luka hug at the end of the game or whatever.
Several times. Yeah.
You just knew when when the Mavs hit that 3-pointer to send it into overtime at the buzzer. You just knew the Mavs were going to win.
The thing about the Luka, though, is, and I was mentioning this to Jennifer, you can actually see he plays games on the court itself. He obviously attempts to get a foul against him and things of that sort.
But he whines too much.
Well,
he does.
But I realized in doing my little kind of like deep dive analysis of what he's doing each game that I've seen him in, when he makes a basket or he's done a good, kind of support in regards to making a basket. He's got that little smirk on him. So, it's like a little kid, I guarantee you. But, bottom line is, it's all a little game for him.
Did Marcus Cubana run out there, too? High five everybody?
I didn't see him there.
Act like he was
there.
The
I didn't see him.
Like
he was looked down in this spot.
Well, he was there because I saw him on TV.
I'm just saying, he always runs out there like as if he shot the shot.
Because, we kind of sit, literally, he would be just a little bit off to the set, about 4 or 5 feet from where we sit directly down to the looking at him. And I didn't see him. Again, he kind of hunkers down sometimes.
Yeah.
So, I'm surprised if he wasn't there.
Yes.
But
like I said, I was going to give you shit or whatever because
you told me as soon as I walked in the door yesterday.
I know.
It was already a topic on the podcast.
Yeah, because it was just it's like I text him. It's like, are you still there? And got nothing. So it's like I knew him because it's like I knew that when Alex and him went to the game before, they left early and went to the pub. But they watch the rest of the game at the pub or whatever. So I know he has a habit of kind of doing that. And when I didn't hear anything, then I knew he left.
But a little bit different.
You're stuttering. You're not.
He's messing with my voice. That's why
I do it at once every podcast. I always do. A quick one.
I did an edit last week.
You took it out.
Let me tell you something. I had to take a lot of that out.
Oh man, it was so good.
Well, half of it I couldn't understand myself. But it was different.
That's probably the best part for the people out there.
I'm sure you think that.
I do.
You think that. But with Alex, it was a little bit different because the game wasn't as close.
No, I get that.
Now it got closer when we left, and then we walked in, and we saw the scores. Like, oh shit. But with Jennifer, yes, I guarantee you, it was 1 point difference, and it was 28 seconds.
That might be a sign because you're saying it wasn't close, then you left, and then it got close. And so then it's like, okay, the Mavs or whatever, and then this game you left, and then the Mavs won.
Just for
that must just be.
Well, the thing about it is I told Jennifer when they were losing, I was like, Michael's going to blame us.
No, I'm not. I wouldn't because it's like,
Oh, you blame me every time that one of the teams lose, and I'm with you.
well, because you're with me because I can't blame myself.
Yeah, you can.
My brother blames me when it's like I'm there and they lose or whatever.
Well, I mean, bottom line is we didn't leave assuming they were going to lose. I didn't tell Jennifer that, hey, let's get out of here. The game's
But
over.
you left.
I hear
and
you.
missed
I hear
an
you.
incredible finish.
Well, I mean, the entire fourth quarter was a great quarter.
Jennifer would have been
There we go
jumping
again.
up and down
You
when
realize-
that three-pointer went.
You realize he's using that against me now.
Well, but I'm just saying is Jennifer for her first NBA game and to see that. It's like a first NBA game and to see a three-pointer at the buzzer
It's only
where you
downhill from
shouldn't.
here.
Are you literally trying to make Jennifer pissed off at me?
No. Just she understands who you are. Boom!
We all should. I mean, that's the whole point of it. All right, move
All right,
on. Move on.
but
As you like to tell me,
no,
move
okay,
on.
I will. But okay, so one thing where I'm just gonna tell you where it's like I did this kind of like the same thing, but it wasn't as close as your game. This was like
Well,
last.
Jennifer, didn't I even say it's probably going to go into overtime as we were walking out of the car? Fair.
Big deal, but
You know what we forgot? We forgot our shot glasses for every time Michael says, everybody knows I'm season tickets holders for the
Carrie's usually
Dallas
here.
Mavericks.
She was going to have a sign for us. That really sits out there just like, I'm a season ticket holders for the Mavs and the Stars.
But I get where especially playoff games. No way in the world do I leave early.
I
and
wouldn't
all
leave
that
for a
stuff, or
playoff
whatever.
game either.
But the regular season last season I was.
Okay.
Last season, I was at the. Me and Julio went to a Mavs game,
Right.
and at the end, the Mavs were not looking good. The Mavs were down 9 points with 34 seconds left in the game. So we decided it's like, they're not. They hadn't been.
Keep in mind, this is a playoff game.
No, this is not a playoff game.
Oh, it's regular season?
No, playoff games. I do not. No way.
Well,
do
and
I
neither
leave.
would I.
But I'm just saying this was.
But I also realized that you wouldn't give me tickets to the playoff games that you weren't at.
But this was a regular season game, and it was like they were down by 9 with 34 seconds left. And so then we decided, okay, we're just going to go.
Yeah.
So we went, and from the once you get to the parking garage, it probably takes me about 15 minutes before I'm home.
Yeah, that's about it.
And so then, we lost.
If
or
you
whatever.
get out early. If you leave early, yes.
Well, it's like no, I'm talking about even at the end of the game because where I park, you get out pretty quickly.
what he's
or
saying
whatever.
is he's like special.
Well, I am special. You just you don't realize that.
Oh, no. I
so
realize
then-
you realize
And
it.
so then we're driving home, nothing and everything else is, get home, and then my friend Julio leaves or whatever, and then my brother texts me, and he says, oh my God, what a shot from Luka. And what happened is the Mavs made up the 9 points and sent it into overtime because at the end there was like three. The Mavs were down by 3 points. They had the ball, and then they fouled him. Luka made the first free throw, and then the second free throw he missed it intentionally, but it hit just right where it bounced to him. He threw it up into the basket, and it went in, and they went into overtime, and they won the game. So I know, I get that, and that's why I don't always. When it's kind of close or something like that,
Yeah.
anything. It's like anything can happen. You just never know.
And again, anything could have happened yesterday. And so, we could be talking about something different where they had lost. I didn't think they were going to because they were really showing, that they had a super good comeback, in the latter half of the third quarter into the fourth quarter. Which is kind of interesting, just watching them over the last, I think it was 10 games, and they've only lost one, including when they were on the road, right?
I think so.
Yeah. I'm just impressed on where they've come.
No,
and they moved into what, was it fourth?
No, they're in fifth.
Fifth, okay.
And the key, because right now these were two key games, and they were both nail biters because Golden State and Houston are both battling for playoffs.
Now, did the Clippers win?
Yeah, they won. They came back and won that game.
Oh,
When are we
wow.
going to talk about women's basketball?
Oh wait,
Is that
we
a whole
will.
other
Oh, that's
section?
on his- that's on his
It's on
subject,
my
trust me.
list. So it's like
For this
Just so everybody realizes, this is a
time?
complete sports.
Is this time?
Yes,
we got
that's
15 minutes.
No, we've actually at 20.
20.
We're at 20.
All
I
right. So
was
then
a little
okay.
slow, but-
Okay. So let me wrap.
Man,
let me
you are
wrap up
just dragging this out. What is going on? Blah 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 blah.
Well, it wouldn't have been dragged out if you would have stayed
No,
till the
no,
end of the
it-
game. Then I wouldn't have had anything to do.
Practice what you preach.
All right.
You know, if you're not going to stay till the end of the game, you might as well just give your tickets to somebody else that will.
All right,
I'm
so
sitting right
so
here.
let me go finish with the Mavs. So the Mavs, those are 2 big wins through big playoff teams. They're right now in 5th place, and you want to end up in the top 6 for sure because you don't want to do the play-in thing. There's only 4 games left. The Mavs' magic number is 2 to make it to guarantee they're in the top 6. So they're in great shape.
Yeah.
Now let me just go quickly.
And just one clarification, real quick. Jennifer also got a chance to see the actual Dirk and Mike Madonna statues outside the actual.
Those are
arena in the
incredible.
plaza.
So if you go to the
So,
AAC, you got to take a look
yeah.
at it. All right, now let me just talk real quickly about the Stars. Stars have been first place in their
First the
division.
Stars.
Yeah, now we're going. I was
Yeah.
like, give me my. Give
You know,
me,
he's
I
just
know.
stretching this out, you know.
But the Stars have been in first place, and they're in the division. They've been on a big winning streak. They played Colorado, who was in second, and ultimately the Stars scored last night. Scored 2 goals late in the game, and they won the game. They're now up 5 points on the Stars. And they've got 4 games left, and there's 4 points, and they'll clinch the division.
Yes, they were 7-4 yesterday. Stars.
All right. Next point, Texas Rangers.
Actually, the Stars have been like high scoring lately.
They have
haven't
been.
I'm impressed with that.
Tonight's
Okay.
bobblehead night.
Tonight's bobblehead at the Texas Rangers.
Mhm. I saw a billboard right by your house.
Oh, cool. Well, Saturday I went to the Texas Rangers game. They played the Houston Astros, and I went with 6 friends.
And one of them was also a strong Houston fan.
My friend Geraldine is from Houston. She's a huge Houston Astro fan. The rest of everybody else was Texas Ranger fans. And of the 5 of the 6 of us that were there at the game were people that I have known for 40 years. We all worked at
Now, just
Southwestern Life.
But just
Insurance
clarification, the other one, the last one, you still know well into the 30 years.
Yeah.
So I mean,
And so,
Say it all,
so in
decades.
that game, it was a very close game. And then the Rangers scored 4 runs in the bottom of the 8th and ended up winning 7-2. So it was big for the Rangers or whatever. So now, okay, Alex, you wanted to talk about the women's, so go.
I'm just upset for everybody else. Caitlin Clark was supposed to win everything.
yeah,
She
this was her last. This is the last hurrah.
Yeah,
you
this
know.
was supposed to be the Taylor Swift for women's basketball.
Yeah.
Did you watch the game?
No, I just checked the score. If I'm just being honest.
I will tell you, I would have loved to see. Well, before I say this, it's like because with the men's finals tonight, but between the women's and the men's tournament, there has been more buzz on the women than there has been. There's been very
There
little,
has, yeah.
very little on the
So
on the
this
men.
was her last chance. You know that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
I didn't know that.
That's- I mean,
you
she's
look
seen
at
that.
it in the Elite 8. Iowa played LSU, that was the national championship game last year where LSU won. That at that point was the highest rated
It was, yeah.
game ever watched by women's sports. And then in the Final Four, Iowa played Kentucky. Connecticut, and Connecticut has been a big power. Then that succeeded, and now that was the most watched women's sporting event, basketball. And then I'm sure the finals will be. But if you look, I stayed home and I was watching the game or whatever. At the beginning of the game, Iowa was on fire. They went up like 10-0, and then basically kind of lost it or whatever. And then it went back and forth, and then South Carolina took a big lead, and then ultimately Iowa got it close but could never get over the hump. And Caitlin Clark, she's going to be the first seed. The first one in the next draft.
Yeah, for the WNBA. So, I mean, she's positioned really
Yeah, but
well.
who cares about that? I'm kidding.
Well,
It's a joke.
I'm pretty sure she does for
joking.
income wise.
Everybody calm down.
I mean, got to give it to her. I mean,
No, I've only been following her through the news. I just wanted her to win.
No,
wanted it to be a fairy tale ending.
I think everybody did.
Yeah,
and
we
it's
did.
just, and what's funny, I mean, if you watch her play, there was games where it's like, okay, you got the 3-point line. She's probably about 10 feet from the 3-point line and shoots, and it goes in. She's
No, she's phenomenal.
She is an
She's
incredible
phenomenal.
player.
yeah, there's no doubt about it. She's really skilled on that. There's that one. So again, first in the draft. There's no doubt.
Yeah,
So
and so that's where she'll make some money. She'll have a lot of
deservedly
endorsements.
so.
Yeah.
Deservedly so.
She's, I think I saw her on a couple of commercials, so I think she's getting endorsements
Yeah.
already now.
Well, because they can actually get through some endorsements currently right now in the NCAA now that
Yeah.
rules change. So I would imagine as she gets into the actual professional league, it's going to have to increase, especially when it comes to income and sponsorship levels. So good for her.
Okay. So, Alex, anything else on women's basketball?
No, I guess it's over. There's nothing else to watch.
Women's is.
Well, I mean, tonight, the men, it's UConn versus Purdue.
Both number one seeds.
They were both
I think
number
Purdue's
one
gonna
seeds.
win. That one guy, the Asian guy, he's tall. Have you seen? You know what I'm talking about? I don't know. You
Oh,
know what
yeah,
I'm talking
yeah,
about?
yeah.
He's huge,
I mean,
and he can shoot.
UConn is the defending champs, and they've won a lot of national titles in the last 10, 15 years or whatever. Purdue has never won. The last time they were in the finals was in 1968, and they lost to UCLA.
I was 1 year old.
Oh my God!
None of you were born. You were probably
unfortunately, I
like
was
20 years old by then, right?
No, I was not.
Okay, but real quick on the men's side, because I know
Oh,
Michael
God,
talked.
I know what he's going to talk about.
Michael talked about this on one of the last podcasts and how he was like on the bottom of the actual brackets,
And I'm still on the bottom.
And he is still on the. And I was actually like real down there was with him as well. But apparently, I have moved up to number 4, and I have a chance to be number 2. If UConn wins tonight, I actually am in second place. So, talk about a comeback.
Yeah, if UConn wins, you're going to end up number 2 because somebody ahead of you also has UConn.
Well, yeah,
so they would be number 1.
Georgia knows her deal. So.
And no, it's not Georgia. Georgia doesn't have a chance to win anymore. I think it's her boyfriend.
Seriously, he's actually way on the bottom there.
Well, or somebody else. Okay,
You
somebody.
got. Oh, here you go. I mean, you can decipher this better than I can. I actually had it up, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he did.
So.
Because if Purdue wins, Nikki wins. All right. Who's friendly family?
Well, no, that's Philly and Frosty.
Okay, Philly. Okay, who's
that would
Philly?
be Hunter.
Oh, that's Hunter?
Yeah.
Oh, then that Hunter would win.
Yeah.
Because she's ahead of you and you both have UConn.
I'm impressed with Hunter, to be honest with you. I mean, she obviously knocked her husband out real quick. Now, if I actually do get into second and have this incredible comeback, just so you know, I'm going to be on the next podcast thanking President Biden because it was his brackets that I actually used, just so you know. So there's another good thing to actually support him for.
So and then after tonight, basketball is. Let's just say college basketball is. But for me to do a recap, it was just a huge another week for me in my sports. Because my Dallas Mavs, Dallas Stars, the Texas Rangers won when I went. When I went there, stuff like that, and they're right now they're first in their division or whatever. But the key right now is Mavs and Stars. It's placement in playoffs, and everything else is. And so because there's only 4 games left in both of them, Mavs and Stars, and so in a week or two the playoffs start, and when they're going to be at the AAC, I'm going to be there.
I'll be at the pub before and after.
Oh, totally. I mean, the pub will be packed. There's no doubt about it. But before we wrap up the sports episode, how are your Cowboys doing in postseason?
I don't care.
Yeah, well, Jerry Jones is being his cheap-ass self again, and they're really prolonging, they haven't even signed Dak yet. I mean, they have the opportunity to really screw it up again. And, this billionaire is just, blowing it.
Well, but that's your matter of opinion.
It's the matter of opinion of a lot of fans.
Okay, because the list...
I'm not a fan of the Cowboys, just so you know, but still.
It's like...
Sorry, don't come after me.
I grew up being a huge Cowboy fan. They were my favorite team and all that stuff. All that stuff is. But then when Jerry Jones took over and then he got rid of Jimmy Johnson, I can't stand Jerry Jones. But I mean, the thing is okay. You're talking about Dak. Dak is a good quarterback.
Oh, he's not phenomenal. There's no
He's
doubt.
not a great quarterback. And to sign him, they're going to have to pay him one of the highest salaries in the league, and he's not worth it. He's not. And so the key is are you going to do it? Or I mean, kind of if you do it, he's not a playoff quarterback. If he has no pressure, he's unbelievable. But you put pressure on the guy, and
we're
just
4 months away
crumbles.
from training camp. So I mean, let's get your shit together.
I know.
I mean, bottom line is we know that Jerry Jones is a cheap son of a bitch.
But doesn't Jerry have bigger issues in the court coming up?
No, he just won one.
He did?
Yeah, I think it was the paternity suit or whatever it was. I mean, he's like philandering a little, like you know what that is. So anyhow,
Okay.
all right.
But
I
this
just wanted to put that out there. I just wanted to put that out there.
my sports issue.
Yeah,
so
well, there
thank
you go.
y'all.
I let him take control for once. There you go.
I probably won't get it again for a long, long
No,
time.
he'll get it again. There's some time and point. But again,
Oh,
thank
yeah.
you for joining for this podcast of Buddies, Booze, Banters, Unfiltered Conversations. I'm Rick.
Michael.
And I'm Alex.
Till next time.
Bum, 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 bum. Go Mavs, go Stars. Go Mavs, go Stars. Go Mavs, go Stars. Go, go, go.